Diesel trucks are meant for towing, right? Well, behind me is the brand new 2020 Ram 1500 with a new 3-liter EcoDiesel V6. Well, let's get it on the road for a first drive with a trailer and see how it performs. Here's a quick acceleration test with the trailer, just impromptu. There it is, the boost comes on really strong at about 2,500 RPM. And the truck really takes off. That was no brake torquing, it's just basically straight up acceleration. Aha, there it is, the new 3-liter 3rd generation EcoDiesel V6. The new rating for 2020 is 260 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque. The displacement is the same. It's still a 3-liter V6 turbocharged diesel, but Ram guys say it's about 80% new. They have a CGI compacted graphite iron block, new head design, new turbocharger, new exhaust gas recirculation system, new piston design, and all that stuff works together, they say, to improve emissions, improve power, and also efficiency. It's available basically in every grade, everything from Tradesman, Bighorn, Laramie, Longhorn, and Limited, and also Rebel off-road truck is now available with a diesel engine. And looks-wise, it's pretty discreet. If you don't see this badge, you may not know it's a diesel. Also has a dual exhaust system. Take a listen. This is a Yamaha jet boat 242X. It's pretty cool looking, and it's kind of a typical load that you will see a half-ton truck tow, although it weighs about half what its maximum towing rating is, probably around 6,000 pounds fully equipped like this. For 2020, if you get a base model 2-wheel drive EcoDiesel truck, the maximum towing rating is 12,560 pounds. As far as half-ton diesel trucks are concerned, that's best in class for 2020. Here's how the truck behaves with brake torquing. There's still a small delay there, but it helped to brake torque it just a little bit to about 2,000 RPM. Of course, maximum torque is there at 1,600 RPM. It's going all the way to 4,000 RPM, accelerating up this hill. Just cruising on the highway. Of course, this is still a really quiet truck. Accelerating though, you can tell it's a diesel. It got that diesel sound. It's not a bad diesel sound. It kind of sounds like a little bit more of a heavy-duty truck. Here I am, EcoDiesel Rebel up a gigantic incline, locker engaged, 4-low, and I have to kind of keep a little momentum and a little bit of a climb. Not bad, the Duratracks are working well and the torque is there. A little bit fast running. This truck still has the 8-speed automatic, but 4-low is no issue. You could still run at a pretty good clip. Air suspension is doing its job. There's plenty of speed in 4-low, just as before. Ram said that they worked really carefully to make the truck, or the engine actually, this diesel, a little bit quieter as well. And of course, they are working really hard to get the emissions right. A lot of you wrote to us and said that you had concerns with the previous generation EcoDiesel, and especially in the 2014 through 2016 trucks, where there is emissions recall, etc., and the performance of the truck, according to some of you, was worse than when it was brand new. I asked them about this, and they said, of course, they're working very closely with the EPA on this new engine. They don't have the fuel economy numbers until the truck goes on sale in the fall or Q4, fourth quarter of this year. Did Ram resolve all of the concerns with emissions? Well, they're confident enough to continue selling the previous generation of the EcoDiesel in their Ram Classic, which actually continues for 2020. It's going to be available this year, and they don't plan to end production of that engine as well. This is insane. We're going deep into what Ram guys call lobster bisque. It's just a very special Minnesota mud. There's iron ore around here, and it gives the mud its color. The Ram Rebel diesel maintains all of the diesel specs. You still have about 10 inches of ground clearance, of course rear lock or hill descent control, skid plates, you got all that. But what does it compete against as far as half-ton diesel off-road ready trucks? Well, not a lot actually. There is a 2020 now GMC Sierra 1500 with a 3-liter straight 6 AT4. So that truck would probably be competing with this one on a pretty even keel. Other than that, you probably have to go to a mid-size truck like a Chevy ZR2 with a diesel. Of course, there's heavy-duty trucks that are more off-road worthy. For example, like the upcoming Ford Super Duty Tremor, and also the GMC Sierra heavy-duty AT4 edition. But there's not a lot that competes in this space, and this could be like the perfect overland truck, because not only does it have the off-road capability, towing, good payload, but it also has range, and that's what a lot of guys who want to go into the wilderness really want. They want to fill up once and go for many hundreds of miles off-road and still have enough range to get home. The Ram Rebel still comes with a choice of suspension, either steel coils or air suspension. I have air in this case, so I can adjust it, and right now I'm all the way up. And on this little obstacle, it's really no big issue. I can kind of hear the diesel engine just working. It's a really trucky experience. It's really kind of cool. It's a whole different character than you would have with a Hemi V8. Of course, it's not just about towing numbers, it's also about payload, because you're putting your trailer tongue weight on the back of the truck. And this fully loaded limited model right here has a payload of 1,290 pounds. This is really good for a fully optioned half-ton pickup truck, which is a 4x4 crew cab. So the truck doesn't set you back with a trailer like a heavy-duty truck would, but for a half-ton truck, for a half-ton diesel, I think it's pretty strong acceleration with a load attached to the hitch. The bones of this truck remain the same. It's still the redesigned chassis from 2019 for this generation of the Ram 1500. The suspension, the brakes, etc. remain the same. But Ram did something different on the cooling, and here's Rod Romaine, the chief engineer, to tell me a little bit more about how they designed the cooling system to account for really heavy towing numbers and also just drivability in general.
In the past, we've had what we call a stacked cooling module. So you've got the charge air cooler, you've got your AC condenser, you've got your radiator, they're all stacked in a row. Relatively inefficient because you're now transferring heat from one module to the next.
Okay.
For the 2020, we followed kind of suit from the heavy duty, and we moved the charge air cooler down into the bumper. So we call it a low slung CAC. It gets better efficiency for cooling for the charge air temps, so we can get that air cooled down, get a good cold charge going into the intake. But as the engine is, putting off heat, we've also now got the radiator such that we're not getting that pass-through heat as we were in the past. So we get better cooling, and it's a more efficient layout of the cooling system in general.
Let's talk about competition just for a minute, because it's heating up in a very big way. GM just unveiled their new 3-liter inline-6 turbo diesel for their half-ton trucks, and they have more horsepower than in this EcoDiesel. GM trucks have 277 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque, and that engine is mated to a 10-speed automatic. This V6 EcoDiesel, the 3rd gen, has the most torque among all half-ton trucks for the diesels. The Ford rating is 250 horsepower and 440 pound-feet of torque, and the Ford also uses the 10-speed. This engine is mated to an updated 8-speed automatic, and it's been updated to handle the higher torque and also recalibrated as far as shift schedule is concerned for more efficiency and to actually handle the new engine. This engine does not have an exhaust brake. I asked Ram guys this, and they said that this type of truck for a half-ton segment, they don't see really a need for an exhaust brake. We come from Colorado, where we have really big, tall, and steep grades, and I think an exhaust brake would be helpful. But we'll have to see how that does, because the Ford F-150 diesel also doesn't have an exhaust brake. Only the GM half-ton trucks do. The Ram 1500 trucks now have this new multi-function split tailgate as an option. It's about $995, and it can open normally. And when you're towing, of course, you have to be very careful, so it clears the trailer and the tongue of the trailer, which it does. But of course, it has another option. If you push the button here, you can open it as a barn door. Of course, when you're towing, you kind of have limited access to this way. It's helpful when there's no trailer hooked up. But check this out. Like if you want to put a cooler in here, you can kind of step in and do it this way, and then boom, close it up. So the new EcoDiesel has the most torque, has the most towing capability in the class, but how much does it cost? Well, if you're starting out with a tradesman, it'll be $4,995 over that base engine, which is a gas V6. And that's a fairly hefty premium for the diesel. It's similar to what Ram has done in the past, though, as far as their pricing for diesels. However, if you have a 5.7-liter Hemi e-torque, the price comes up $3,000 over the Hemi with e-torque. So this is a premium engine choice for Ram, no question about it. Fuel economy is going to be really important for this truck, and General Motors threw down the gauntlet. The GM 1500 trucks with their straight 6 are now rated at 33 mpg with a 2-wheel drive and 29 mpg with a 4x4. Ram needs to come really close to that, if not get the class leading number there, because they already have the highest torque and the highest towing. Efficiency will make the deal even better. This truck is priced very aggressively, even though the engine is a premium over the other V6 and V8 gas engines. It starts at just under $37,000 before destination charges and under $39,000 with destination. It's a little bit more affordable than competition. It has best-in-class torque and best-in-class towing number. And I want to get it to Colorado to see exactly how it performs on our efficiency loop and also on the Ike Gauntlet. And go back to tfltruck.com for more news, views, and real-world truck reviews.